Hey, what's happening, Champion Squad? Welcome, your beautiful faces, back to the channel. And today we are going to be going over the Apex Legends Season 12 Ranked character tier list. Now, usually when I do this as an overall ranking every legend from worst to best, but this time we are going to dial in on some ranked. What are the best legends for ranked? I've been playing a lot of ranked these last 2 weeks. I'm closing in on 20k RP, and for some reason, I don't know, comment down below, but this split has been insane amount. For the pet cap, it's been skyrocketing up. I don't know if there's a dashboarding glitch or what's going on, but not to get too sidetracked, how I'm actually going to be ranking these legends is by number one, popularity. How often do I see these legends in the pred lobbies? Now, the next thing I'm judging these legends on is going to be by their team support. That is absolutely crucial. And the last way I'm going to be judging every legend is by what I've been seeing when I've been playing. When I come across this specific legend, how tough does it make the fight? Do I die to a specific legend more often than not? Am I playing all this ranked? I have a solid understanding on who are going to be the best legends in the game when it comes to team play, rank play, and the current meta. So enough banter, let's go ahead and get started. Hopping straight into the D tier, and first on this list is going to be Rampart. Now, straight away, I know some of you guys are thinking, what the heck is he talking about putting Rampart in D tier? Some of you guys are probably agreeing, others maybe not so much. But what I will say is that if you are a really good player, you can make any of these legends work. You can still gain RP. So don't shy away from using these legends just because I put them lower on the tier list. Now, Rampart did get a buff pretty recently. I think it was a season ago, where you have a mobile Sheila. It works pretty good. You still have a really slow movement speed when you're walking around with it. The charge, or should I say ramp up time to that Sheila, that minigun, is still pretty big. You know, that's the biggest problem with that. You can get fried quickly while you wait to charge up that Sheila. Now, a good way I find to bypass this if you do play a lot of Rampart is shooting before rounding the corner. Go crazy with that gun. That's how you have to really play it. Rampart still has a lot of potential. She plays end zones very well. It's always annoying going up against a Rampart in an end zone when she's spamming those walls up. You have to waste a lot of ammo to break those walls, so make no mistake about it, she's a solid legend, especially if you're a defensive squad. Now, moving on to the next legend in the D list is going to be Revenant. And again, I always say this with Revenant, he's in a very weird state right now. He definitely needs some type of rework to get him back in the scene. But as of now, you rarely see Revenants, especially in those ped lobbies, or those master lobbies, should I say. Revengeful, I think he's the #1 Revenant kills for PlayStation or overall. Comment down below, correct me if I'm wrong. But he plays Revenant very well. He gains a lot of RP. He's in pred. So again, you can get pred with any of these legends, but I'm going to give you guys the best legends to get pred the easiest way. Now, I think Revenant's downfall was the nerf he got where he places his ultimate and it makes a loud sound effect, a very intentional visual color as well. So everyone knows when the Rev totem goes down, they're going to set up shop and pre-aim the angles they're going to be pushing from. So it's that simple. Revenant is not as effective as he once was because you can actually hear the Rev pushes. Now, that's going to move me on to the next legend in the D list, which is going to be Lifeline. Again, another legend where you would think she should be higher up. Lifeline, a medic character that's really good for the team. It helps a lot, but unfortunately, there's other legends that do what Lifeline can somewhat do, but better at what their main job is, right? They have that as a side job. You guys know who I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it. We are doing the tier list, ranking every legend from worst to best, so we're going to go one at a time here. But anyways, Lifeline does need a rework. She is pretty solid with a gold bag, make no mistake about it. You can tap your teammates, both of them, boom, boom, and you're still there shooting, putting pressure on the enemy squad. But most times, I'm telling you guys right now, #1, you rarely see Lifelines in higher lobbies, those master lobbies. And #2, most enemies are focusing the down player instantly. Or at least for me, when I know I'm fighting a Lifeline, as soon as I knock someone, I'm trying my hardest to thirst that player. I'm literally going to force my game around to try and thirst that player because I know she's going to tap right away. So even if she's shooting at me, I'm going to try to get that player completely wiped and then heal. And that's pretty effective against all Lifelines, unless it's a really sticky situation where you can't get the angles to get the thirst and she can just spam for free, then it's a problem. But most of the time, again, fighting a Lifeline is not too bad. Now, that's going to conclude the D tier list. Moving on to the C list. And first up is going to be Caustic, who received a devastating nerf. Unfortunately, Mr. Gasman has been put to the ground. You can shoot his gas barrels even if they're activated. You just have to put, I think it's 125 damage, or maybe 100. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. But the gas barrels are very easy to explode and get rid of. They do leave a gas in the area though, so that takes time to expire, just like his ult does. But again, you can break the gas barrels whenever you want to. That's GG. don't act like you don't want to fear the gas either, because next thing you know, you're going to be one shot and you're probably dead to gas. So just be aware Caustic is still lethal. Take him with a serious approach and always look to destroy any gas barrels that you see and sort of clear your way out through the building. Because a good Caustic, again, is always prepared. I always say this all the time. When you're fighting a good Caustic, you're going to know. You are going to get fried when you try to peek. His barrels are going to be exploding in your face. He's going to be using the barrels as cover. If you're a good Caustic, you can make Caustic a very strong character. Although I am putting him in the C list, especially for this split and ranked on Olympus, you're not going to be seeing too many Caustics. There's just not that many buildings to lock down. It's more of open field fighting. Next on the C list is going to be Crypto, who actually received a buff for this season, but it wasn't what most were expecting. It didn't really evolve him as a legend and help the team that much more. He still has that same issue of not being on the scene while constantly scanning the enemies. Again, I always think Bloodhound and Seer is better to run than a Crypto. Crypto's mainly for that initial damage. I think if your team doesn't trust their shot or isn't putting out as much DPS, let's say they don't have the best shot, Crypto's a solid legend to run that you could definitely gain RP like that. Go with the initial EMP and then bum rush it maybe with a jump pad. That can definitely help. But if you guys are looking for a more consistent scannage on the team, knowing where enemies are constantly, go with Bloodhound or Seer. Again, Crypto you can still gain RP with, but you just don't see him as often in these rank lobbies. Now moving on to the next legend in this C list is going to be Mr. Fuse. Mr. Fusey. I've seen Match absolutely destroying the ped lobbies using Fuse. So guess what? Exactly what I said. A good player can make a bad legend look good. He can be very effective at times, especially with his ult. As you guys can see from the footage, I don't know if I'm putting the right moment in. Hopefully I am. But if you hover an ult over the roof of a building, if you got a squad in that building, send that ult over the roof. You have unlimited wall hacks on that team. Done deal. So Fuse is very good, almost S tier good, should I say, in certain occasions. So he's very good at DPS and putting constant pressure on the team as well. Make no mistake about it. But I am putting him in the C tier only because he doesn't offer as much team support. Next up in the C list is going to be Mad Maggie. Okay, very underwhelming upon release in this season. I was expecting a little bit more from her, but make no mistake about it. Again, she has a very unique playstyle and a lot of strats with her. And she can be very effective if used correctly. Again, if you do that big damage, your ult is going to come clutch to close that distance, get that speed boost, close the distance, clean up the kill before they take the bat. So Maggie is a very good team player, not only for herself, but for her team, because those speed boosts, anyone can use it. But I am going to put her in that C list just because I think other legends are just that much better than her. Next legend on the C list is also going to be Seer. And now you guys are probably wondering, why isn't Seer higher? In Arena ranked, Seer's very good, without a doubt. Seer is super solid to cancel reses when it happens. But one thing I am noticing with Seer, and I think the idea behind why I'm not seeing him as often in these ped lobbies, is that people are getting good at avoiding his tack. Once you get the timing down of his tack, you can really knee slide your way out of it. You just got to be on your toes. And that's really bad for Seer, because if all the enemies avoid his tack, they are not getting scanned. You have no idea where they are. And guess what? You have to wait another 15, 20. But you have to wait a good bit before you get that next scan. Now with Bloodhound, on the other hand, they're getting scanned no matter where they are. Up, down, left, right. And you don't have to be accurate. So that's why I really prefer Bloodhound over Seer. Again, Seer is really good with the res cancels, but highly situational. With that said, that is going to move us into the B tier. Here we go. We're getting into the juice of the video. And first up on this list is going to be Mirage. Now, Mirage is single-handedly probably one of the best 1v1 legends there is in the game. Trying to 1v1 Mirage is very difficult, especially if they're good. I think he's a very solid legend to the team. He has the invisible revives, which is always nice. Very clutch, especially with gold bag. You can pull that off, man. And he's also a very good distraction player. He's going to relieve a lot of pressure off of your teammates. They're not going to be getting shot at as often because, you know, the enemy team is going to be shooting at decoys. So that's super solid. And other than that, there's not much to say. Mirage is very good, but I do think it takes a skill hand to use him. Be aware. Next on the B list is going to be Watson. Now, Watson did receive a buff recently, which has been massive for her. When you walk through a fence, you're getting one mag no matter where you are. So just be aware, Watson is an absolute unit at supporting down buildings. She overtook Caustic. Fighting a good Watson is always a tough task, especially when she has her ult placed in a very good spot. it's very hard to push in and overtake their positioning. Now, as far as rank goes, I think tournament play, obviously Watson's going to be way up there. But when it comes to ranked, I don't see as many Watsons, believe it or not. She's sort of in that middle ground. That's why I put her in the D list, where you'll see them occasionally, but not on every single team. She's a beautiful legend for that defensive playstyle. So if that suits you, go for it. Next legend on this list is going to be Pathfinder. Pathfinder is in the B list. I was actually debating on putting him in the A list for this split in specific. Olympus split, use Pathfinder. He's an absolute GOAT. The grapples on closing the distance when you have somebody low are just phenomenal. Since you have that sort of long range fighting on Olympus, for the most part, should I say. There's also a lot of high ground areas, but the grapple comes huge on Olympus. Let's just say that. If you're good at grappling, give Pathfinder a go if you haven't already in ranked. And I guarantee you, I can almost assure you that you are going to be gaining RP even if you're solo, because he has that mobility. So very good mobile legend. He's good with the zipline too for your teammates if you want to get the high grounds instantly, try to make a quick push. And he's also very good at getting angles and the first knock for your team. So use Pathfinder. Next legend on the B list is going to be Octane. Mr. Speedy Boy. Octane, again, I really wanted to put him higher, but I didn't. His stim, you get gushed. You get hit for, what is it, 25 HP every time you stim. So that's sort of a bummer. Jump pads are always clutch though. Very effective for the team. And you can still gain RP with him. He works very well with multiple legends when you combine him. So that's why Octane is always solid. And if you want to use him, go for it. Next on the B list is going to be Ashe. Another legend that's very similar to Octane's playstyle. Not so much with the speed, obviously, but more so moving your team from point A to point B. If you're looking to make an aggressive push, Ashe is great for pushing your team up and closing up that distance. Same thing with Octane, that pad. Same effect. The only problem is with the Ashe portal, obviously it's only one way. Octane pad, pretty much one way because you're not going to be able to get back to the pad. So Wraith, I think, definitely overtakes them when trying to close the distance on the team, because you can always use that portal to escape the situation. But make no mistake about it, Ashe can put a real threat on your team very quickly. So that's why I put her sort of in that B ground. It is a one-way portal. If it was two-way, she'd definitely be A tier. Directly into the A list now. And first legend in this list is going to be Loba. Now, Loba has been on a rise ever since like about 2 to 3 seasons ago. More and more players have been playing her, and she's actually been seen a lot in ranked. And when I mean a lot, I mean I've been seeing Lobas everywhere, but for good reason. Loba is super solid to get those specific sites you're looking for, those specific attachments. She also has that escapability, so she has movement. She can play her life very well, so very good for the team. Very good solo play, out angling people, getting positioning. Solid legend. That's why I have to put her in that A tier. Next legend on the A list is going to be Horizon. Another super good legend when it comes to teamwork, team play, using that lift to get high grounds as a team, having the ult to absolutely just decimate people's shields if they don't shoot the ult down, and you actually have arc stars and nades to throw at the ult, and you can pick up the first knock on a team very quickly with Horizon ult. Now, on top of all of that, Horizon's movement, I think that just takes the cake. It's just she's skating on ice. Let's be honest here, you can hit super glides phenomenally. The movement feels amazing. And honestly, guys, I'm addicted to Horizon. I'm just going to admit it right now. Obviously, you guys know I play Valk a lot, but when I was recording this footage, I think I fell in love with Horizon. That's all I'm going to say. She's an A tier, solid legend to use for ranked, very good for RP, so give her a try. Now, moving on to the next legend in the A list is going to be Bangalore. There is sort of a debate going around with the one-way smoke. I don't have a stance on that at the moment. If it's a bug, it needs to get fixed, obviously. It's unhealthy for the game. Just hope to run a digi threat, and that's going to be the best way to sort of counter it. But the Bengal is super effective on Olympus. Wide open field, so you can really put a lot of pressure on a team to escape or push up, depending on your situation. And then obviously her smokes are fantastic with crosses, blocking out people's vision so they can't see your team. Bangalore, A tier, no debate. Moving on. Next legend in this list is going to be Wraith. Wraith, another solid legend, and as you guys know, we were talking about the two-way portals. That's why she's up there. Even though her phase has a delay, which is unfortunate, RIP Wraith, bring back insta-phase. Wraith is still a very unique legend and offers a lot to the table with those portals. You can portal a down teammate out. You can portal into a fight to use it as a safety net to back up if you get fried. Portals are everything, okay? Wraith and portals equals win. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up the A list. And now we are finally moving on to the spice of the video. Here we go. Drum roll, please. S tier list. First legend on this list is going to be Bloodhound. I hyped him up. I've been bragging about him throughout this entire list because Bloodhound is just the most dominant recon legend. I said it blatantly right there. The scans hit almost every time and hit every single one on their team. So you really know how to position and play that fight. Scans are everything. Basically have a lot of wall hacks, especially when he has his ult. It's almost constant wall hacks, which is why Bloodhound is top tier. And we got to throw him in that S tier. Next in the S tier is also going to be another staple legend that we've seen for centuries, guys. Decades since Apex first came out, which is going to be Gibraltar. I have a really good feeling Gibraltar is going to get nerfed pretty hard very soon. I don't know why, but I have a strong feeling. The only reason he might not get nerfed is because of the comp meta. He's pretty healthy for the game in terms of helping your team reset with that bubble and getting those heals off and then getting back into that fight. So do we really want him seeing getting nerfed to the ground? Not really. Maybe sort of a touch, and hopefully that can spice things up a little bit. But as of now, Gibby, S tier, no debate. And the last legend in the S tier is going to be Valkyrie. A legend that I knew from the jump. As soon as she was released, she's going to be S tier, and probably for a while until they nerf her ultimate. Her ultimate is just way too good. It's just a mini jump tower to get your team out of that situation, to get your team rotated into a top 5 spot in a flash. If you have the right legends paired up with Valkyrie, you can overtake somebody's position almost instantly, even if they have it secured, by landing on them. If you land on a solo player of a team, even though if their teammates are pretty local, you can really focus and put a lot of pressure, get the first knock. Bada bing, bada boom, 3v2. Valk is up there, the best legend for mobility and moving your team, rotating your team. So if you guys are actually seriously having trouble gaining RP, just make sure you have a Valk on your team, because that is crucial. If you are in a slimy spot in terms of positioning and where you are on the map, she will bring you from a very bad spot to a very good spot if you know how to play her correctly. If you guys enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. If you disliked it because I hated on your legend, I'm very sorry. Go ahead, dislike the video. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, join the Champion Squad for some more awesome content. And with that said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And as always, this was Sultan, signing off. Peace.